Habit. It's a slavery and it's a freedom. Man is a subject that love habits. Is he then free? Yes, he's free. Man didn't make life and its laws. They're eternal. He finds himself involved in them and he can understand and obey them. Man's power does not enable him to make laws of being. It subsists in discrimination and choice. Man does not create one jot of universal conditions of laws. They are the essential principles of things and are neither made nor unmade. He discovers, not makes them. Ignorance of them is at the root of world being. To defy them is a folly and a bondage. Who is the freer man, the thief, who defies the laws of his country, or the honest citizen who obeys them? Who, again, is the freer man, the fool who thinks he can live as he likes, or the wise man who chooses to do only that which is right? Man is the nature of beings, a being of habits, and this he cannot alter, but he can alter his habits. He cannot alter the laws of his nature, but he can adapt his nature to the law. No man wishes to alter the law of gravitation, but all men adapt themselves to it. They use it by bending to it, not by defying or ignoring it. Men do not run up against the walls and jump over the precipices in the hope the law will alter for them. They walk alongside the walls and keep clear of the precipices. Man can no more get outside the law of habit than he can get outside the law of gravitation, but he can employ it wisely or unwisely. As scientists and inventors and mastering physical forces and the laws by obeying and using them, so wise men mastering spiritual forces and the laws in the same way. While the bad man is an whipped slave of habits, the good man is an is wise director and the master. Not is a maker, let me reiterate, nor yet is an arbitrary commander, but is an self-disciplined user, is a master by virtue of knowledge, grounded on obedience. He is the bad man whose habits of thought and actions are bad. He is the good man whose habits and thoughts and actions are good. The bad man becomes a good man by transforming and transmuting his habits. He does not alter the law. He alters himself. He adapts himself to the law. Instead of submitting to selfish indulgences, he obeys moral principles. He becomes the master of the lower by enlisting the service of the higher. The law of habit remains the same, but he is changed from bad to good by his readjustment to the law. Habit is repetition. Man repeats the same thoughts, the same actions, and the same experiences and over again until they are incorporated with his being, until they are built into his character as part of himself. Faculty is a fixed habit. Evolution is in a mental accumulation. Man today is the result of millions of repetitions in thoughts and acts. He's not ready-made, he becomes, and he's still becoming. His character is predetermined by his own choice. The thought, the act, which he chooses, that by habit he becomes. Thus each man is the accumulation of thoughts and deeds. The characteristics which he manifests instinctively and without the effort outlines of thought and the action become, by long repetition, automatic, for it is the nature of a habit to become, at last, unconscious to repeat, as it were, itself without any apparent choice or efforts on the part of its possessor, and in due time it takes in such a complete position of individual as it appears to render his will powerless and counteracted. This is the case with all habits, whether good or bad. When bad, the man is spoken as being the victim of the bad habit or vicious mind. When good, he is referred to as having by nature a good disposition. All men are and will continue to be subject to their own habits, whether they are good or bad, that is, subject to their own reiterated and accumulated thoughts and deeds. Knowing this wise man should subject himself to good habits, for such service is joy, bliss, and freedom. While to become subject to bad habits and misery, wretchedness and slavery, the law of habits and beneficent. For while it enables any man to bind himself to the chain of slavish practices, it enables him to become a fixed and good course of attitude to them unconsciously, to instinctively do that which is right without restraint or exertion, and the imperfect happiness and freedom. Observing this in a automatism in life, men have denied the existence of a will or freedom on man's part. They speak of him of being in a born good or bad, and they regard him as the helpless instrument of blind forces. It is true that man is an instrument of mental forces, or to be more accurate, he is those forces, but they are not blind. Okay, and he can direct them and redirect them into new channels in a word. He can take himself in hand and reconstruct his habits. For though it is also true that he is born with a given character, that character is a product of numberless lives, during which it has been slowly built up by choice and effort, and in this life it will be considerably modified by new experiences. No matter how apparently helpless a man has become under a tyranny of the bad habit and the bad characteristic, and both are essentially the same, he can, so long as the sanity remains, break away from it and become free, replacing it by its opposite good habit. And when the good possesses in him as in bad formerly did, there will be neither wish nor need to break from that, for its dominance will be perennial happiness and not perpetual misery. That which a man has formed within himself, he can break up and reform, but he so wishes and wills, and a man does not wish to abandon a bad habit, so as long as he regards it as an plausible. It is when he assumes a painful tyranny over him that he begins to look for a way of escape and the financial abundance and the path for something better. No man is happily bound. The very law by which he has become a self-bound slave, which enable him to become a self-emancipated master, to know thus he has but to act until it, that is, to deliver and strenuously abandoning all the lines of thought and the conduct, and the diligent passion new and better lines. That he may not accomplish this is a day, a week, a month, a year, and 5 years, and should not dishearten and dismay him. Time is required and for the new repetitions to become established, and the other ones need to be broken up. But the law of habit is certain and infallible, and the line of effort patiently pursued and never abandoned. It is sure to be crowned with success, for if in a bad condition, a mere negation can become fixed and firm, how much more surely can a good condition, a positive principle, become established and powerful? A man is only powerless to overcome the wrong and unhappy elements in himself, so long as he regards himself as powerless. If to the bad habit is added to the thought, I cannot, the bad habit will remain. Nothing can be overcome till the thought of the powerlessness is uprooted and abolished from the mind. The great stumbling block is not the habit itself, it is the belief in impossibility of the overcome it. How can a man overcome a bad habit in so long as he is convinced that it is impossible? How can a man be prevented from overcoming it when he knows that he can and is determined to do it? The dominion thought by which man has enslaved himself is the thought, I cannot overcome my sins. Bring this thought out into the light in all its nakedness, and it is seen to be belief in the power of evil, with its another pole, disbelief in the power of good. For a man to say or believe that he cannot rise and above wrong thinking and the wrongdoing is to submit to evil, is to abandon and renounce good. By such thoughts and such beliefs, and man binds himself by their opposite thoughts and opposite beliefs. He sets himself in free. He changes the attitude of mind, changes the character, the habits, the life. Man is his own deliverer. He has pride about his thraldom. He can bring about his emancipation. All through the ages he has looked, and is still looking for an external deliverer, but he still remains bound. The great deliverer is within. He is the Spirit of truth, and the Spirit of truth is the Spirit of God, Spirit of good. And he is the Spirit of good who dwells habitually in good thoughts, in their effects and good actions. Man is not bound by any power outside his own wrong thoughts, and from these he can set himself free. And the foremost enslaving thoughts from which he intends to be delivered are, I cannot rise, I cannot break away from the bad habits, I cannot alter my nature, I cannot control and conquer myself, I cannot cease from sin. All these cannots have no existence in the things to which they submit. They exist only in thought. Such negations are bad thought habits which need to be eradicated, and in their place should be planted in positive I can, which should be tended and developed until it becomes a powerful tree of habits, bearing the good and life-giving fruits of right and happy living. Habit binds us, habit sets us free. Habit is primary in thought, secondary in deed. Turn the thought from the bad to good, and the deed will immediately follow, persisting in the bad, and it will bind you tighter and tighter, persisting in the good, and it will take you into ever widening spheres of freedom. He who loves his bondage and let him remain bound. He who thirsts for freedom, let him come and be set free. Okay, that's good.